Welcome in. What's Right with Nick Wright, episode 434. Happy NCAA Tournament Day. And a reminder for everyone to join the Volumes Bracket Challenge with our friends at Hard Rock Bet. The website for that is bracket.thevolume.com. I got that right off the top of my head, I believe. It's free to enter. I'll tell you more details on that later, but that one, time's a-wasting. And you better be watching us live, really, because if you're watching this after the fact, tournament's probably already tipped off. So do that as soon as possible, if you can, to join our Volume Bracket Challenge with our friends at Hard Rock Bet. By the way, this episode, as always, is brought to you by our friends at Boost Mobile. Demonze, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. How's it going?
Just full disclosure here. This is a weird day to do sports TV because no one will be watching. Doing morning sports TV, which I used to do obviously pre 2022. Our show was on first thing in the morning. This is a great day. But once, noon Eastern hits, not a lot of sports fans that are like, you know what? Forget the tournament.
Right.
We gotta see what
Nick
Brew and Wilds are saying about these Stephon Diggs rumors. If there was ever a day to make a grievous error on the show, today is the day. Today and tomorrow are the days. And to be totally honest, now that I think about it, I probably should have planned that Japan trip a little better. I probably should have done it this week instead of last week when I knew Thursday and Friday nobody would be watching. But people watch this. Tournament hasn't tipped off, and this is on demand. Let's go straight to voicemail, brought to you by our friends at Boost Mobile. Alex Caruso uses his shoe to block a shot and then seems stunned that that's not allowed. The Eagles sign Hollywood Brown, and then some real news that we're going to spend a minute on. Cade Cunningham diagnosed with a collapsed lung. Now, obviously, this could knock him out until next season.
Yep.
It would appear the doctors on the internet are saying it also might only knock him out for 2 or 3 weeks, like the rest of the regular season. Two major takeaways on that, other than the obvious, which is you hope Cade's okay.
Yep.
Collapsed lung, I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but it seems to be, I like when I say that, the producers immediately take Demonze off the screen. They're like, we don't know what Nick's about to say. Let's just make sure Demonze is protected.
That's good looking at
I'm not gonna, but I'm not gonna say anything egregious here, I hope. But it does, from reading what the doctors say, it seems like this type of collapsed lung is an injury that sounds more grave and life-threatening than it actually is. Does that, yeah. I think blood clot is an injury that goes in the other direction. Blood clot sounds less scary than it actually is. Like, blood clots are major medical events that can have real long-term consequences. Maybe that's how it sounds to most people.
Blood clots sound scary.
Okay, so, all right, well then, I think it should. Collapsed lung, I think in this context, pro athlete who got hit, they, was monitored, they saw it. I don't think there is real long-term, real-life health implications, but there are obviously immediate health implications. And I think there is real implications, too, once he does return to court, how long it takes his fitness and endurance level to get back, which makes a ton of sense. And so the two things that come to mind are, one, the Pistons already, Demonze, were on shaky-ish ground. They had cooled off from, not that long ago. They had the best record, not in the East, in the entire league. They had passed OKC briefly. That that is no longer the case. And they already were, I think, going to be a very unpopular 1 seed pick to make the finals. As far as, how much belief people typically have in the 1 seed of a conference, I think they were going to be on the lower end already. This now only exacerbates that. Now, this stretch of time is going to remind folks how hard it is for the Pistons offense to operate without Cade.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my other point. If he is knocked out for the remainder of the regular season, or even he's only played 60 games. So unless he plays 5 more, which at this point I think is a big underdog, he's not going to be all NBA eligible, and that's a shame. And that's a flaw in the new rules. Cade has been there. Cade has not been load managing. Cade's been awesome.
Good
if
teammate,
the All-NBA, right, led the team, they're still probably, not definitely, but probably going to be the 1 seed. If the All-NBA team is supposed to be something of a snapshot showing the best players from that season, Cade Cunningham not being on that team this year is a damn shame. And I think it's a good impetus for Adam Silver to potentially tweak it. Now, I don't think the 65-game rule was ever going to be really necessary when it came to MVP, because MVPs always play. You didn't need a rule for people to say if you only play 60 games, we're probably not voting for you for league MVP. But this will cost Cade a spot on the ballot, which makes it, I think, 4 spots now on the MVP ballot are basically in stone if Cade is not going to be eligible. Shea, Luka, Wemby, and Joker are going to be on there. And then, honestly, I think the last 2 spots will probably come down to 2 Jalens, Brown and Brunson, as a fight for that last spot. I would lean Brown heavily, and maybe Anthony Edwards could say something about that. But the other thing about the Cade injury is this. Boston alive for the 1 seed now. Boston's 4 losses behind Detroit. Let me see real quick who has the tiebreaker there. So Boston 1-1, 1-2. Okay, so Detroit has the tiebreaker. So that's going to be hard. So they're 4 losses back, and Detroit has the tiebreaker. So Detroit would really have to go into a swoon, but they are alive for it. So those are my immediate takeaways from the Cade Cunningham news. That obviously is an Eastern Conference story mostly. We're going to get to the Western Conference here in just a second, but first, a reminder, like, rate, subscribe, review. Also a reminder, we're back to 3 shows a week. We're going to alternate or vacillate between gambling shows and mailbag shows. So again, I know I tell folks send in questions, comments, then at the end of the show we don't always get to them. We are culling those and creating kind of a nice archive of them to do on our mailbag shows. But tomorrow's episode will actually be a very early AFC over-unders, as Hard Rock has dropped the over-unders looking for next season post-free agency. And again, you'll get an update when that posts if you are subscribed to the pod. DeMonte, let's get to the game last night.
So earlier this week, JJ said the best thing for the team is LeBron being the 3rd highest used player. And then he went out, scored 30 on 13 of 14 shooting. And now the Lakers have that tiebreaker with the Rockets and are alone in the 3 seed. So a bunch here. One is LeBron went 13 of 13. Did you see his one missed shot? It was like a block or like an early steal kind of.
I mean, he jumped, got hit by 3 guys, lost the ball out of bounds.
Didn't really get
I thought he got fouled, if it wasn't a foul, it was a turnover. Instead, they called it a missed shot.
Yeah.
But it was also the second straight game against the Rockets when LeBron is dunking like it's 2010. I mean, one of these alley-oops that he caught 3 feet behind his head, just bananas.
He's different.
He's the oldest player in the... His next game, DeMonze, he ties Robert Parrish for the most games, regular season games in NBA history. Which
is honestly kind of surprising to me that he
doesn't have it already.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the most combined regular season and playoff games.
Yeah.
He's had that for a while. He has the most playoff games ever, the most combined regular season and playoff games ever. But Robert Parrish, who was obviously way before your time, DeMonze,
healthy guy.
He played 21 years, and until his final year, which was 97, when he played 43 games, his first 20 years, DeMonze, the fewest games he played in a season was 74. So he went 20 years of somewhere from 74 to 82 games, and then his final year he played 43. He played... he's one of the only guys in league history to play older than LeBron. He played until he was 43 years old, which is just unbelievable.
Robert. Seems like he's happy for LeBron.
Yeah, and he said he would go to the game, and so I have a bunch to say here. And we'll get to the Lakers piece of it in a second. I want to talk about LeBron for a second. And the biggest story with the Lakers is actually not LeBron, it's Luka. But I was out of town when LeBron passed Kareem for most baskets in NBA history. They didn't even stop the game for a second. Like, they didn't even acknowledge it. You're laughing at me, but, like, it's the most baskets.
We're playing basketball.
Seems kind of like, might be like, oh, okay, just for a second here. Let's just stop and give him the basket. He doesn't have to do a whole ceremony. But as I remind folks,
was that in LA or was that
I don't even remember. I don't know. I just know what happened.
Yeah.
But we had a nationwide countdown ticker when Steph Curry was about to get the most 3-point baskets. LeBron breaks the record for just baskets, and they're just like, all right, ball in. Keep it going.
They're trying to stop in the game for Braun, man.
And he is about to break the record for most games. And I don't know if anybody, I think 10% of the audience knows that.
I mean, if Robert Parrish pulls up to the game, then they probably, I imagine they'd stop it.
Well, that is a weird one. When do you stop it? Just as soon as the ball's tipped, stop? That's when he sets the record. Like, that is a weird one. Maybe you do something pregame in the ceremony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But LeBron, we are numb to things like we saw last night. Last night was the, hold on, when the LeBron dunk on Jason Terry, hold on, was either 13 years ago or 15 years ago. I just got it. Oh, sorry. 13. So the LeBron famous Jason Terry dunk was the reason I'm bringing that up. That was 13 years ago yesterday to the day. So at that moment, LeBron was in year 11. He was or year 10, pardon me. He was 10 years into his career and has that not historic, but memorable dunk on Jason Terry. 13 years later, he is putting on a dunk show in a critical game late in the season against Kevin Durant and the Rockets, who they just beat on the road, and we're like, okay, yeah. I mean, it was a really good LeBron game, but about sounds right. It's just, he is, he leads the NBA in fast break points. He's simultaneously the oldest player in the league. Days from becoming...
You got to cherry pick a little bit when you get older.
Well, sure, but it's not a ton of cherry picking. It's a lot of full steam ahead. Yep. He's simultaneously the oldest player in the league and still the biggest open court threat in basketball since Giannis is having a tough season. It's just, it's
unprecedented.
Impossible to put into words. And this is what I was saying the other day. To get to your point about
third highest usage,
him being the third option. Big scoring nights from LeBron being a bonus instead of a prerequisite for the Lakers winning makes them really scary.
Yeah, is it like if they win the finals this year, is it still like sayonara LeBron to Cleveland? Like at the end of the year, like how do you?
Oh, if they win the title,
they won the title. Yeah.
Oh, if they won the title, no, I think that. I don't know. I think that probably changes things. But maybe not. Maybe it would just be like, this is perfect.
I was just about to say, considering the time of his career, like if you are going to go back to Cleveland,
so there is, Edie, right? The Lakers have, and I'm going to disregard the rundown a bit. I apologize. We'll stay here, and then we'll probably do some Luka MVP stuff. But the Lakers right now are in a real groove that is sustainable. Now, does it mean they're guaranteed to even make it out of round one? Not guaranteed. West is hard. Does it mean they'll be favored in round two? No, they're not favored. They're going to be significant underdogs in round two. But it does mean that it's no longer farcical to discuss them as a conference finals team. And if the five-man group the four-man group of Luka, Austin, Bron, and Marcus Smart, plus either Rui or Ayton, those two lineups legitimately work. And did you see DeAndre Ayton's quote the other day? Might have been yesterday.
Kind of had an epiphany.
Yeah, where he's like, I've got to lock in. I was the guy who wasn't locked in, and now I'm locked in. Good for him. And hopefully he can stay that way.
Yep.
And so again, people are going to roll their eyes and get annoyed with me. I don't care. I believe it, and I know I'm right. This is where the things like people talk about, justifiably, the tax of having the greatest player of all time when he's no longer even the best player on his own team. How it can screw with certain parts of the team. Luka deferring to him late. Like what, who has what role. Those things. And that is a real thing, okay? That is a real tax of having the GOAT in year 23 on your team. The flip side of that tax is when you have the GOAT in year 23 on your team and he is going all out, full horizontal Dennis Rodman dive for a loose ball, I think it resonates with DeAndre Ayton. Like, shit, man. Bron's not playing in the exact role he wants to play. He doesn't want to be standing in the corner, not, you know what I mean, watching Luka and Austin cook. And LeBron James is doing that, I can try to thrive in my role. I really believe that.
They also started Capella like a few days ago when they played the Rockets. I don't think they usually start him.
Who
the Rockets? The Lakers played the Rockets in the first game,
and
they started Capella in that game. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Oh, that's I was watching at the beginning of that game. I was still watching the World Baseball Classic. That's
Şengün was also hurt, which played into that.
Yeah,
but yeah. But good for him. I like that.
And this is
It's been like the one thing they're missing. It's like a solid.
And I have to listen. I've got to give JJ Redick credit too. Like, the team is locked in more on defense. And it took someone with a relationship with LeBron that JJ has, I think, for LeBron to be cool with this third option Swiss Army knife role. And it makes them a scary team, man. Now, the real reason they're scary right now, or the reason they're scariest, is Luka. And so we will get to that in just a second. But first, today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet, Florida Sportsbook. It is tourney time, as I told you guys earlier. Everyone's favorite thing to do this time of year is fill out brackets. So as I said off the top of the show, join me in the volume bracket contest presented by Hard Rock Bet. Grand prize winner gets a 2-night stay at the Guitar Hotel at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida, plus $1,000 in bonus bets to use on the Hard Rock Bet app. All you have to do is head to bracket.thevolume.com and fill out your bracket. That's bracket.thevolume.com to make your picks. And once your bracket's locked in, time to hit the hardwood on the Hard Rock Bet app. All tournament long, Hard Rock Bet is rolling out daily dance and boosts featuring a live profit boost, parlay profit boost every single day. That's more ways to shoot your shot and cash in with boosted odds. And you know those heart-stopping zero-on-the-clock moments? Now they pay. Hard Rock Bet is giving out $25 in bonus bets throughout the tournament if a team you bet to win or cover hits a buzzer beater. If you haven't joined Hard Rock Bet yet, now's the time to check in the game. New signups can double their winnings on their first 10 bets, max $50. That means if you would have won $100 on your bet, now it's $200. That's how you start March hot. So don't sit on the bench. Download the Hard Rock Bet app, and let's get the party started. All right, let's do this, DeMonze. Let's talk Luka here, and then we can go back to the LeBron ownership news.
Sure.
But let's talk Luka.
So after Luka dropped 40 against the Rockets, you updated your MVP ladder. How does your top 5 look now?
Well, and I did this before the Cade news. So as of this moment, here's what it would be. But it looks like Cade, unfortunately, is going to fall out of eligibility. Right now, the MVP of the league is Shea. And it would, if Shea hits the 65-game mark, which I think he's 7 games away from, he's going to be league MVP. And I want to be clear. I'm totally fine with that. What are you laughing about? Tell me.
Nothing. No. SGA is never. I don't really like the guy. I don't dislike him personally, but his basket, I'm cool off of that.
You're not a fan of his style. I want to let you know. I haven't checked in on you on this in a while. Are you bothered by mean comments on the internet?
Am I bothered by them? No.
I don't think you get flooded with mentions, will it mess with you up your day?
Oh, no, not. I've seen people have come to me a couple times. I've seen it. It's
okay, you say that you have underestimated the venom and the vitriol of OKC basketball fans. I think it's because it's the only pro sports team there, and they're very, very protective. So I just want everybody to know at DeMonte Bird with a Y. Listen, Shea, they have the best record in basketball. He scores 20 literally every night, but averages 30. And I don't think anyone else on his team this year, any other individual guy, has been exceptional.
Yeah.
J-Dub has been injured a bunch. Chet is great defensively, but Chet's a very good player, but hasn't ascended the way people maybe thought he would. Now, let me make it clear. They have an unbelievable roster. They have the best defense in basketball. Shit. They held the Nets to 24 points in the first half yesterday. 24 in the half.
Yeah.
That was 60 to 24 at half. So I'm not acting like he doesn't have an awesome team, but best record in the league, 30-plus points, efficient, good defensively. That's a deserving back-to-back MVP, okay? After Shea, it's either, at this point, if we are being fair, it is either Luka or Wemby. Joker has fallen. Joker is 4, and I would have Cade 5. But again, Cade's probably not going to be eligible. And the Luka, everyone knows the Wemby MVP case, and it's a great case. He's the best defensive player in the league. He's a very good offensive player. They have the second best record in the West and the second best record in all of basketball. It's a great case. And if you want to say Wemby is 2, so be it. The case for Luka, though, has been understated all year. Luka is averaging one of the 10 most points per game this season of anyone this century. Post Jordan, this is a top 10 scoring season. Kobe had a season where he scored more. Harden had a season or 2 where he scored more. And shit, that might be the list. Hold on. And Luka obviously does more than just score, but I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to check this real quick. I should have done this before. But 33 points per game. Here is the full list of seasons this century. Or I'll just do post-Jordan, where someone scored more than Luka this year. Embiid by 1/10 of a point 3 years ago. And then, Luka himself 2 years ago. Harden, as I mentioned, 6 years ago. Kobe in 06. Harden in 19. And that's your list. So this post-Jordan, the only people to average more points per game in a season than Luka is averaging right now is Embiid, Harden twice, and Kobe 1 time. When you add to that he's giving you 8 rebounds, 8.5 assists, the Lakers are the 3 seed, he's shooting 48 from the floor and 37 from 3, they're going to win 50 games. And he has these games like last night where he just rips people's throats out. Like the behind his back, through traffic lob to Ayton, followed by splitting another double team lob to Bron, followed by the reverse pivot step back 3, followed by the absolute dagger double step back 3 to end the game. He's just unbelievable. And all year, most of the conversation was about what's wrong with him. About why he might not win a title. Ever. Not forget this year. Ever. And he is just a legendary offensive player who, as of late, has cleaned up the defense a bit. And, I mean, on this winning streak, DeMonte, let me go to it. So they've won 7 in a row, including games against really good teams. And here is Luka's stat lines on the winning streak. 44, 9, and 5. 35, 8, and 4. 31, 11, and 11. 51, 10, and 9. 30, 11, and 13. 36, 6, and 4. And then last night, 40, 9, and 10. They have beaten on this winning streak the Knicks, the Wolves, the Nuggets, the Rockets, plus Pacers, Bulls.
Yeah.
He has a legitimate, and again, 2 weeks ago, I think people thought he wasn't even first team All-NBA. And here is what I will say about Luka's attitude. Because last night, he was mother effing the fans.
Yeah.
Luka is at his greatest when he is turning the vitriol and I think deep personal and intense hatred he has for the officials
The fans.
to the fans and other players.
Yeah.
When he pivots it from I'm being persecuted to I'm going to make you cry and just does like what he did to Devin Booker in that series against the Suns.
No, because when he's in a bad headspace when he's arguing with the refs. It's like, some players,
Correct.
It's cool when they're angry, but I don't think it works for him. When he's into it with the refs, he's not having a good game.
I agree with you. And I'll say something else that I really think has helped him. Being one tech away from a suspension.
Yeah.
For real.
That'll probably do it.
He knows he doesn't, like he's at 15. Now, I honestly think, just so it kind of reset the clock a bit, it would have been kind of smart if with like 30 seconds left last night, he would have walked up to a ref and just been like, F you, you effing F. Because he's going to sit tonight no matter what. I think he's going to sit. They're on a back-to-back in Miami. They got there at 5 a.m. Just be like, you know what?
Hey, by the
I'm not
way.
going to play. So I'll just take my suspension here. But that's, 5D chess I'm wanting him to play.
Has anybody ever gotten a tech for screaming at the fans?
Screaming at the fans, I feel like that happened recently. And somebody talked about it. Hold on. Technical for screaming at fans, NBA. It was Luka.
He is still cursing.
No.
He's
was
cursing
remember.
them out,
Hold on. Remember last year against OKC at the very end of the regular season in the fourth quarter, Luka screamed at a fan, and the ref thought he was screaming at him and threw him out.
Oh, okay.
They ejected him. Like that was the.
But did it get resolved, or he just stayed ejected?
No, it just stayed ejected, and it was like a tie game with 6 minutes left. I feel like that might have been Easter Sunday. For some reason, I feel like I was at. Let me see if that was Easter Sunday, because I feel like I was at my mom's house when this happened.
Easter Sunday last year? Yeah, I mean,
when was Easter Sunday? Easter Sunday last year. No way to tell. April 20th. This looks like it happened April 8th, so I'm not even close to right.
Yep.
Well,
yeah,
Luka
MVP. I mean, he's.
Well, listen. I don't think he's going to win MVP, and I'm being fair right now. I wouldn't vote for him for MVP. But he's got to be first team All-NBA. He's got to be top 3 on your ballot. And Lakers-Spurs round 2. Here's the awesome thing about a potential Lakers-Spurs round 2 series from Wemby's perspective. Either way, it's an amazing opening-ish chapter in the story of Victor Wembanyama's playoff career.
Yeah.
Either, and this is more about the LeBron piece than the Luka piece, but either in his first ever playoff run, he runs into 40-plus-year-old GOAT and beats him, and it's a passing of the torch.
Yep.
Or the first guy ever to beat him in a playoff series is maybe, like, there's a non-zero chance that Wemby's first ever series defeat and LeBron's final series win are the same moment.
Yep.
Like that, and there's a non-zero chance that that LeBron's finals playoff series defeat comes at the hands of Wemby. Either way, it's awesome. Like, either way, it's a really cool potential moment. And it looks like that's the round 2 we're going to get because, and this is the point I was trying to make on Twitter, but I'll just make again here quickly. It now would be stunning, DeMonze, if the Lakers don't get the 3 seed. So they now have the tiebreaker with Minnesota, Houston, and Denver.
Right.
They also are at 25 losses, while Minnesota and Houston are at 27. Denver is at 28. They also have 5 games remaining against tankers in Brooklyn, Utah, Indiana, Dallas, and what's the one other team I'm forgetting? Washington. So if they win those 5 games against tankers, that puts them at 49 wins. They then, in their remaining 8 games, which is Miami tonight, they're going to lose. Orlando, Detroit with no Cade, Cleveland, OKC again, Golden State, Phoenix. In those 8 games, DeMonze, if they just go 2-6, they're at 51 wins. Again, 2-6, which they should be able to do better. But say they just go 2-6, they're at 51 wins, which would mean Minnesota has to go 9-3 the rest of the way. And Anthony Edwards is out a couple weeks. Houston would have to go 11-3 the rest of the way. And Denver would have to go 10-2 the rest of the way. Like, it's just not happening.
In a good position.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to like their position in that regard. All right, let's talk a little LeBron ownership stuff quickly before we move on to other things.
So the Athletic reported that Fenway Sports Group is not chasing an NBA expansion team. But why is it in the NBA's best interest, in your opinion, that LeBron ends up owning one?
Well, so here's the thing. It's not just that Fenway Sports Group said they're not pursuing an an expansion team. It's that Bron was asked directly last night, "Are you still interested?" And he said, the real news came late last night in the locker room. LeBron was asked about this, "Are you still interested?" And he said, "No, not at all." And the reporters seemed shocked, and that was all he said on it. I'm stunned by this. If I'm being totally honest, this is probably something that I should run down what's happening here. I'm not a reporter, but this is a story that I could probably get more info on. And so I will briefly put on my reporting hat over the next few weeks and try to bring you guys real info on what has changed. Because LeBron has been adamant for years that he wants to own a team. And for him to just be like, no, say it again.
Is it the price tag, maybe?
The price tag can't help. But I think he would be able to come up with the money. Not himself, but like, you know what I mean? That he could get involved with a group that has it. So I think this is stunning. And I think that this is real news. And I think that it's not that the NBA needs LeBron to own a team, when he's done. It is that it would be very good for the league if LeBron owned a team. And I think that it's in Adam Silver's interest to see if there's a way to get LeBron to change his mind on this. It is... And I saw the news that Fenway Sports Group's not pursuing an NBA expansion team, and that was noteworthy. But the real noteworthy piece of this, to me, is LeBron flatly saying not at all when asked if he's still interested. And I will do my best to figure out what changed here. And but like, again, I saw this when I woke up this morning. I didn't watch the oh, you did? You'll talk to your guys too?
I'll talk to my guys too.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. Yeah. You made some connections at that clutch party. Yeah. Work the phones, buddy. We can have a race. All right. Before we get to Giannis, new sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Ethos. Tough topic. You need to be ready for anything in life, and making sure you have a plan for your family in the event of an unforeseen circumstance should be a top priority. It's at the top of my mind as a parent, and again, I don't want to get too deep or emotional here, but it has to be at the top of DeMonze's mind as a new parent as well. And DeMonze is a great example for this and candidate for this, actually. And he doesn't know this, but I actually used Ethos on his behalf. You're going to have to sign a couple papers here in a few weeks, pal. But Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. So I'll use DeMonze as an example. Young, healthy, 27-year-old parent. Get the quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exam, just answer a few simple health questions online, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage. And some of these policies, again, particularly if you're listening right now, and a lot of you guys are probably in the, my son's category. You're in your 20s or early 30s, you're young, you're starting or have just started a family, and you obviously are not thinking about dying, but you have, you have responsibilities. You can get up to $3 million in coverage, and some policies, again, are as low as $30 a month. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Help protect your family with life insurance through Ethos. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/Wright. That's WRIGHT. That's ethos.com/Wright, WRIGHT. Application times and rates may vary. All right, pal. Let's talk Giannis here.
So we know the state of the Bucks right now. They are not doing too great, and they want to shut Giannis down, but Giannis does not want to be shut down. He wants to finish out the season. Do you think this is the move of somebody that wants to stay or somebody that wants to leave, maybe buff the value a little bit?
I actually think this is a sign that he's leaving. And the reason for that is twofold. One is, if he's leaving, he doesn't really care, like, oh, if we lose one more game, we have 2% better chance of improving our lottery odds, right? What does it matter to him?
Right.
But more importantly is this. If he's leaving, I think Giannis wants to have an unofficial goodbye to the fans. a final home game that he plays. You understand what I mean? Not just like, oh, he's shut down for the year, and that's that. Was playing in the game against the Pacers, got hurt, and now he's done. And they have home games remaining against the Spurs, Clippers, Mavs. They're then on the road in Houston. They then are home against Boston, home against Memphis, and then one of the saddest games on the NBA calendar, Game 81, the Bucks who won a tank against the Brooklyn Nets who just scored 24 points in the first half. Giannis should get at least one more home game against the whomever, but in Milwaukee as a salute and as a goodbye. And I think that's why he wants to play. I don't know that, but I also, DeMonze, think at this point, it's just as over as anything could be. Like, this has to be the end. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's playing in Milwaukee next year. But you think if Milwaukee keeps beefing with Giannis, he'll request a trade or demand a destination, and that possibly hurt his trade value?
Well, if he demands a specific destination, that certainly hurts his trade value. Right. But they obviously don't have to do that. And the Bucks did everything they put chips into the middle of the table to win a title with Giannis, and it worked. They then pushed more chips in the middle of the table to try to extend that window with the Dame trade. They then, to continue torturing this metaphor, after going bust on... So let me
co-signed
start
like
this
all
analogy
stuff,
over.
Though, I feel like
Say it again.
Giannis co-signed all those moves, though.
I
feel
of
like
course.
Giannis is like responsible for where they're at right now. But
Well,
I mean, there's obviously ownership.
yeah.
He can't make a move himself.
No. But he co-signed it for sure. But they also, Dame tore his Achilles. Like, there's some bad luck. They didn't want to admit it was over, and I glossed over some of the stuff. So they trade for Drew Holiday. They win a title. They then are the favorites to win the title again. Middleton gets hurt. They then are right there, supposed to be in the mix. Giannis gets hurt, or falls on his back early in that series. And it's, okay. And so now they fired Bud. They bring in Adrian Griffin. They're 30-13 with Adrian Griffin. They fire him. They bring in Doc. They trade for Dame. Dame tears his Achilles. They then stretch Dame and sign Miles Turner, which, if I was going to continue the going all in analogy, that's where you see the guy at the poker table who has bought in 3 times and lost, and all of a sudden you're like, is he taking his shoe off? And the guy takes his boot off, reaches into his sock, and there's a sweaty $100 bill in there.
That's Miles
and he puts
Turner?
that on the table. Yeah, that's the Dame stretch, which, by the way, we've all seen at a card table done, and you're like, that was that guy's gas money. And by the way, when I say we've all seen it done, hand up, I've done that. I've had my case money in a sock that I reached into at the table and got. I've had my case money locked in my car. That was like a 15-minute walk from the poker room. That I'm like, all right, I'm leaving it here. There's no way.
Didn't get you to. Jeez.
Nah, man. Nah. I mean, listen. It's there is an unbelievable gambling story that Bobby Baldwin told me of a guy who just lost and lost and lost. Thousands and thousands, like real money. And then had $100 left. And didn't live in Vegas. Was like visiting. This, 50 years ago, though. And that $100 was how he was going to drive back to wherever he was going. And I don't know if it was Bobby himself or someone else was like, all right, I'll walk you to your car. And as they get to the car, he's the guy who walked, this poor guy who lost all his money, all he had left was $100, to his car, said to him, like, hey, man, rough night. I'll bet you your $100 I can throw this ace, this playing card, across the street. Like, give you an easy win. And that's an impossibility. Anybody that's ever seen, it's just going to flutter in the wind or whatever. And the guy's like, okay, sure, I guess. The guy grabs the ace, flicks it like a frisbee because it was actually a
weighted
fake card that was metal. Across the street, takes the guy's last $100, leaves it in the parking lot. And everybody's like, what? He comes back into the poker room, the guy's like, he tells the story. And the guys are like, why did you do that? He's like, listen, man, that guy planned to lose all his money, wanted to lose all his money, and I was making sure he lost all his money. Real brutal stuff, man.
It's terrible.
It's really terrible. It's really, truly terrible. Like that, he might have ruined that guy's life. And he has, correct. And he told that story, when Bobby told that story, dying laughing. Bobby's probably got $100 million and is dying laughing about taking this guy's last $100 40 years ago. It's just so bad. All right, let's talk a little Maxx Crosby here quickly.
So some weird stuff with my team and Maxx Crosby. It seems like when he went in for the physical, the GM and the head coach weren't even in the building. This situation just keeps seeming fishier and fishier.
So here's the deal. I think the Maxx Crosby trade would have been bad business. I would rather have Trey Hendrickson and 2 first-round picks than Maxx Crosby. I also, when the news initially broke, I believed the Ravens. They saw something very scary on that physical, and they said, we can't do this. And I believed that. I'm not going to say I no longer believe it, but I'm starting to have doubts. I cannot believe that Eric DaCosta and Jesse Minter did not greet Maxx Crosby at the door when he got to the Ravens facility. That is stunning to me. I'm a little surprised, DeMonze, they didn't fly him private, first of all.
Right.
So here is what I have gathered about the flight of Vegas to Baltimore. There are 2 airlines that fly nonstop Vegas to Baltimore. Spirit and Southwest. No disrespect to either of those airlines. I used to fly Southwest, LA to Houston every weekend, right? And while I haven't flown much on Spirit, I've certainly bought plenty of plane tickets for my children to fly on Spirit, and it seems like it's a fine operation.
I agree.
However, neither of those airlines has a first class.
Yeah.
And so, if you want to fly nonstop Vegas to Baltimore, there's no first class option. So, again, the assumption would be that the Ravens would spend the $30,000 to charter a private plane. Again, $30,000's a ton of money for a person.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be for a professional football team. The Chiefs flew Aloy Gilman private to come from Baltimore to KC to come, or wherever he was, to come sign. The Ravens chose not to do that. So they flew him first class to D.C. and then drove him 2 hours.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
So think about this. You have just traded 2 first-round picks for a player who's about to become the second highest paid player in the history of your team. You know he had knee surgery 2 months ago. You fly him. You don't fly him private. You fly him when you then know he's going to then, after a 5-hour flight, going to have a 2-hour car ride, and then you don't meet him at the door? When I went to L.A., NBA All-Star Weekend, and came on the Fox lot to do Coward Show, my boss, Whit, met me at the door. This is me. I've worked there not 10 years. I'm just not there that often. It is, so that all of that was, to me, noteworthy. Well, it just made me wonder, DeMonze, were they, and the most important part of that I left out, he had not yet had his physical. So it makes me wonder, were they having second thoughts before he even got there? And then used the physical as an out. I'm not accusing them of that. I don't even know if I'm right now at 51%, I think that's what happened. More likely than not. But it is weird that the head coach, who's a new head coach, defensive guy, this is your big acquisition, and the GM, it's the biggest trade you've ever made, aren't there to greet him and don't see him for hours? He's in the facility for hours? He's like asking the secretary, he's like, hey, what's the code to the bathroom? Like, what do I do? Like, it's just,
and
that's
brand
weird,
new
man.
head coach, I feel like you probably want to do your best to, make that. But
this is a good point by Daniel. Daniel adds that the Ravens did a really good job on that NFLPA report card thing.
Yep.
They are considered a first-class organization, which makes this even more odd. All right. Not a first-class organization. The Browns. We'll get to them in a second. But first, Boost Mobile is proving you don't have to overpay for great wireless. Unlock the savings with $20 a month forever unlimited plan. Permanent price with no contracts and no price hikes. You can keep your phone and your number, but you save up to $600 a year compared to the major carriers. Stop overpaying and switch to a fair price at boostmobile.com based on average annual single-line payment of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile customers compared to 12 months on the Boost Mobile unlimited plan as of January 2026. For full offer details, visit boostmobile.com. All right, DeMonte, real quick, let's get to this Browns rule change proposal.
Rule change proposal from the Browns. They want to be able to trade draft picks up to 5 years in the future. Of course, coming from Cleveland.
This is your buddy who has filed for bankruptcy over payday loans and now pays for DoorDash Chipotle on Klarna or whatever the little loans, micro loans you can get.
For installments.
Right. That guy saying, the government's banking regulations are far too onerous on us consumers. Like, no, bro. They're guardrails because you're on Amazon buying a video game and clicking the button to pay for it over the next 18 months. It's your buddy who works 18 hours a week, and all of a sudden they pull up to your house in a 3 Series BMW, and you're like, huh? And they're like, you're not going to believe it. I'm only paying $280 a month. You're like, really? How many months? And at first they don't know. And then they're like, let me check. And they're like, 108 months? Is that a lot? Like, you get a 9-year car loan? The reason the NFL doesn't allow you to trade draft picks more than 3 years in the future is to save teams from themselves. And teams need to be saved from themselves. And so I do not support this rule change. In theory, it's very Darwinian, let the fittest survive, but pro sports are a bit of a communistic enterprise anyway, or socialistic enterprise anyway, and we don't need teams being able to take second and third mortgages out. Particularly, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
It is, now you can say ownership can veto trades, I get that, but GMs, if a GM is on the hot seat, the hell does he care about what 5 years from now looks like? Like, you should be able to, in less than half a decade, dig yourself out of a hole of a horrible general manager. So I do not like this rule change idea at all. Also, last note, little sports media note, whoever leaked the WNBA CBA details to Shams instead of to some of the women who were out there every day reporting on that story, shame on you. Have some professional courtesy for the people that were grinding on that beat, and let one of them break the story they deserve to break rather than curry a small favor with Shams. I don't blame Shams. Listen, he's a reporter. He got the story. Maybe in a perfect world, he would have then fed it to one of his colleagues who had been covering it, but that's probably asking too much. I didn't love that. All right, we're going to save questions for the mailbag. We have some great ones coming in, and we appreciate that. Reminder, everybody, like, rate, subscribe, review to the show. Also a reminder, tomorrow we will have the AFC way too early, not in stone, unofficial over-under leans coming up. So that'll be, in your feeds tomorrow if you are subscribed. Huge thanks to Hard Rock Bet, Boost, and Ethos. Huge thanks to The Volume and to Blue Duck. Sign up, if you got a few minutes more, sign up for The Volume's bracket contest, bracket.thevolume.com with Hard Rock Bet. Talk to you guys tomorrow. What's right?